Hello, everyone, and welcome to Harv's World for another episode of the Baltic Sea. That's right, we are back in Scandinavia. And I think it's time. Oh, just about missed my turn. Don't want to miss the turn. I think it's just about time that we start looking into the Vikings. What do you think? I think it's time. I really do. Now, I don't want to bypass Sweden. I mean, we did talk about Sweden a little bit, not as much as we have Denmark and Norway. But to be honest, you know, agriculture in Sweden really isn't that much different from Denmark and Norway. Although there is one little interesting fact about Sweden that I wanted to share with you, since I mentioned the fact that Norway has to import all of their sugar, and Jory, who follows these videos pretty religiously, she told me yes, they do in fact import it from their neighbors, and Sweden actually creates a lot of sugar. Yeah, Sweden is actually capable of growing sugar beets, and they produce a bunch of sugar. So that was kind of interesting, considering the fact that Norway doesn't produce any, and they border one another, and in fact they're similar countries in that they're long north to south but narrow. But Norway has a lot more land that reaches much farther north. So, maybe that's the difference. I don't know exactly, but could be. Look at our canola field coming in. So very lovely. I just came back from the shop. I had to go pick up some new equipment, and I will tell you why. Yeah, and our sunflowers are ready to harvest too. Potatoes are not quite in yet. Look at me. I was doing so well, and now I'm jacking it up. So here we go. I needed a water trailer. I needed to outfit the smaller Valtra with a front loader, and I needed a bucket. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why. In fact, why don't I fill up this water trailer and head on over. There's a lot to get done today. A lot to get done today. I always say that, right? There's a lot to get done today. As if there's not a lot to get done every day, but there we go. This is a nice water trailer. It'll hold 10,000 liters. It's pretty basic. It doesn't really have a maker, so it's not like Scandinavian equipment. It's riding a little funny because I've got the weight. I picked up a weight too, just in case I needed it while I was loading. So yeah, it's not like I can attribute this water trailer to to any Scandinavian maker necessarily. We'll just say it was Harold Bluetooth, his great grandson, who shared his water trailer with us. Who decided to make a water trailer, and we get to benefit from it. There we go. Let's tip that water right in there. Outstanding. Very nice indeed. So you can see I've cleaned up the area around our potato sorter, and I bought a second, or a potato. The big one's the potato washer. I bought a second potato sorter because these things are small. They don't hold very much. The reason I have a bucket is, frankly, because I'm going to need it to load potatoes into the washer. And obviously a potato washer is going to need water, so that's why I have the water trailer now. Not in for too much. In fact, I've got the perfect spot to park this water trailer for the moment. Kind of glad I kept this shed now. Almost got rid of it. It's kind of old and beat up, but it's serving my purposes at the moment. Now, like I said, the potatoes aren't quite ready yet. I can shut these down now. I'm not Not using them. Potatoes aren't quite ready yet. They're getting close, but I wanted to be prepared ahead of time for when they are ready. And I'm a little bit frightened by exactly how much we're going to get out of that field still. I'm like, I don't know. And I've made a command decision. Oh, Harv, this is what happens. Um, so the clover field. I mowed the clover field again because, man, that stuff grows quick. And because it grows so quick, I decided that I'm going to plow it under. Yep, that's what I decided. That was my command decision. I'm going to plow that sucker and probably just merge it with that canola field. Like I said, our sunflowers are ready to harvest, so I'm going to get on that. And you can see I got started right here on this field early today. And I cleared some headlands. In fact, when I get around to that other side, I think I will start running rows. You can never have too much headland, right? Right. Anyway, Nico is actually helping out today. However, I felt it was more important for him to be working elsewhere than working directly with me. In fact, you can see him over there on field 16. We picked up some work from one of the local guys, and he needed fertilizer done on field 16. And Nico's not around very much, and I think it's important if we're going to get his farm up and running. He needs to be able to manage this on his own. He needs to participate. One of the big things he can be doing is making sure that he's, getting to know the locals, working with the locals, building up a reputation with them to get work done, things like that. So I'm putting him off helping the locals do what they need them to do today. That will bring in at least enough money to cover our bloody interest, which is just outrageous. Well, it's running about 5,000 a day. 5,000 a day is a lot, but it's manageable. Like I said, I am not going to worry about, dealing with getting that paid down until we are well established. But I think we're well on our way. We get this potato crop harvested, and hopefully the potatoes will last a good long time. So the Vikings. There are lots of great stories about Vikings. Danish, Norway, Sweden. Vikings came from all three countries. You're going to end up hearing a lot about Denmark and even more about Norway. But the age of Vikings was basically from about 789. Yeah, 789 to about 1066. So Vikings were a real dominant force in Europe, Scandinavia, and Europe for about 300 years. 7, 8, 9, yep, about 300 years. I had to do my math there to make sure I wasn't talking out of school. Anyway, yeah, and they have such a prominent place in history that you would kind of almost think it would have been longer, but it's not. And one of the things that really made Vikings feared, and we're going to go into this a little bit more in the future, but one of the things that really made Vikings feared is the fact that they were pagans. Now, we toss this word around. What does it mean? Well, it means pretty much anybody who's not a Christian is a pagan. They believe in some other deity, some other belief system, a religious belief system, and of course, I think we've all seen enough Marvel Avengers at this point to understand that the Vikings worship people like Odin, Thor, hell, things, people, gods like that. And one of the things that made them so fearsome is the concept of Valhalla. Now we've all heard about Valhalla, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other thing. But what does that really mean? Well, the Vikings believed that you had one choice, and that choice was to decide whether you were going to die a valiant death or you were going to die a less than noble death on a day you were going to die anyway. You didn't get to choose when you died. And if you happened to die on whatever day you were fighting the battle, that was preordained that you die on that day. And if you did, you needed to face that death bravely, because when you died, you were going to Valhalla. And in Valhalla, you were going to hang out with Odin. Odin had a big great hall. It's said to, the roof is made out of shields, and there's a whole story that goes along with that, which we'll get into. I'm going to give, today's going to be a brief overview of the Vikings as a whole and some of their history, and then we're going to start getting more into specifics. But, they believed in Valhalla, and only the bravest, strongest, toughest warriors were allowed. And so the Vikings did not fear death. In fact, by some accounts, they actually welcomed it. By many accounts, they were actually looking forward to their deaths so that they could go to Valhalla. And that made them very fierce. One of the other things that they had going for them is because they were pagans, they didn't have the restrictions that a lot of other people had when they were attacking places in Europe. For example, let's say, if, during the age of Vikings, say France and England, and I don't believe it would have been France at that point in time, probably Francia. Let's say Francia and England got into it with each other and they went to war, and Francia invaded England. Well, they would completely avoid any religious buildings, monasteries, things like that. They held those sacred. They weren't going to do it, yada, yada, yada. Well, the Vikings didn't care. They weren't Christian. And these monks and all of that were inhabiting monasteries and chapels and such, they just did not care. They had no belief. The Vikings had no regard for these religious institutions. They didn't care. They didn't have to. They didn't believe in the Christian God. They didn't believe in the Bible or crosses or Jesus Christ or any of that stuff. And so, because these places weren't sacred, they would go in and raid and pillage the crap out of a lot of monasteries and other religious sites, and totally took advantage of their weakened defenses. Why wouldn't you, if that stuff wasn't important to you? Grab the goods and get out of Dodge. So the Viking Age begins in 739. That's when the Vikings first decided to attack Britain. They developed the technology to sail across the open sea, which they hadn't done before, or anybody had really not done much of before. And they attacked Dorset, which is in the Kingdom of Wessex, for those of you who don't know Great Britain, like me. Anyway, they attack Wessex, and there's not really much information, at least at this point, to share with you about exactly what they did. However, things did quiet down for a few years. About 4 years to be exact. And then they led a raid on a town called Lindisfarne, which was on the Northumbria coast. So yeah, they attack a place called Lindisfarne. They take all the treasure from the monastery there, and the Vikings were not afraid of a little slavery every now and then, and they took many of the monks as slaves, At least the ones that they didn't kill, and they killed plenty of them. Vikings weren't exactly known for keeping people around or being kind to people who gave them a hard time. So, and that was about 4 years after the initial attack on Dorset. You know, things settled down again for a couple of years, and then for the next 11 years, the Vikings are gung-ho. They've learned that there's plenty of wealth in Britain, and they want to take it. Vikings are all about getting some free wealth if they can manage it. They're all about that. So, you know, for about the next 10, 11 years, they go after Scotland now. They're going after Scotland. They actually attack the same place 3 times, Iona, and then they're also, you know, into Ireland and France at this point. They're attacking Ireland. They're attacking France again. You know, they're after the religious institutions. They're going after the towns, anywhere that might have some wealth hidden away. The Vikings are going for it. And believe it or not, this is like a common misconception, but most Viking helmets didn't have horns on them. They had no horns on them whatsoever. And then, you know, in about 836, if I ever say 18 or 17 or anything like that, it's always 7 or 8. This was a long time ago. You know, in 836, there was a big battle in Wessex. The Vikings went up against King Egbert. Great name, King Egbert of Wessex. And he gets his butt kicked. The Vikings beat the crap out of him. And then, you know, in 838, they go up against Cornwall in the Battle of Hingston Down, and they pretty much kick butt there too. So the Vikings are kind of having their way with Great Britain for a while. In fact, one of the things that starts happening is that the Vikings, or the English kings, actually start paying the Vikings to not attack. If Vikings are coming at them, they see the Vikings en route, they're like, we know you really just want the loot, so here's some cash and I'll go away. And a lot of times it worked. But you know what happens when you do that? You teach people that they can keep doing that. That's why blackmail never works, because when somebody blackmails you and you pay them, all you're doing is teaching them that they can continue to get away with it, and they will keep coming back for more and more and more until you decide to put a stop to it. Now, I am going to get this field harvested up, get these sunflowers in, probably go ahead and feed up the cash crop sunflowers, pig food canola. That's what we're going to do. Anyway, I'm going to get this harvested up, see where we stand at that point. We will get back into some Viking history. Okay, we got the sunflowers all harvested up. Nico finished up his 2 fertilizer jobs and we got paid off for those, so we're up about $9,000. That is outstanding. That's going to carry us through, at least interest-wise, on the day. Sunflowers brought in almost 41,000 liters, but the price is a little bit low at the moment, so I'm not going to sell those off just yet. This is our cash crop, though. I decided canola is going to be our pig feed. I'm just going to get these in our silo, and then I'm going to run over to the shop and pick up a little something, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here in just a minute. Now, I don't know if you all have done this before or not, but I can tell you right here and now, there ain't nothing pretty about a potato harvest. It's long, it's tedious, it's slow, and I'm probably going to have to empty this thing about 87 times by the time I'm done. And I'm almost not exaggerating, that's the sad part. But while I was harvesting up those sunflowers, our canola came in, our potatoes came in. Potatoes are the big one, though. That's where the focus is going to be. And like I said, Nico got done with his fertilizer contracts, so I set him to plowing that sunflower field. Hey, if he's going to be helping, he needs to be helping, right? I mean, not doing this for my health. Okay, this potato harvest is coming along pretty well. And I don't like these pull behind harvest. I got to be honest with you. But we can't afford anything else. We really can't. And it is going to get the job done. That's what's really important. I've gotten most of the field. It's been a long, tedious slog to get this taken care of. And I didn't really think you wanted to see all of that. It does take quite a bit of time to... anyhow, my trailer's almost full over there. Almost. Not quite. You can see that Nico finished plowing the sunflower field. It looks very nice. Did a good job. And the best part is he's off doing some more fertilizer contracts, working for the locals. We're going to get him self-sufficient yet. If it kills me, he's going to be running this farm on his own. It might kill me, though. Although, you know, he gets a little grumpy sometimes. I mean, I guess I would too, working 7 days a week. Well, 6. He really only helps me on the farm about 1 day a week, and I can't blame him. He's doing what he can to keep a roof over his head. I respect that. I'm going to help him get out of this hole, though. But by the time we're done, he's going to be able to manage this on his own, and maybe with a little bit of luck, he'll be able to quit working full-time and just focus on the farm. I'm going to try to build him up to that. That's my goal. Look at that one little lonely potato plant sitting out there that needs to be plucked. Not no mo. Okay. So while I'm finishing up this potato harvest, we might as well dig into a little bit more of Viking history. What did the Vikings do? Now, in 865, the Great Viking Army invaded Britain. Grab your ankles, Great Britain. The Great Viking Army is coming for a visit, and they're not happy. Thousands upon thousands of Vikings from Denmark. You remember Denmark, you know, Copenhagen, Franz Christian Andersen, yeah, those guys. Vikings from Denmark in the thousands go to Britain. Now, I've told you before that frequently Britain had gotten into the habit of just paying these guys off to go away. Like, nah, go away. Here's some cash. We know that's what you want. Take the cash and leave us alone. Well, not this time. I'm sure the Vikings said, you know what, if they can pay this much, they can pay a heck of a lot more. And you know, if we just took it all now, why do we have to keep coming back? So the Vikings were having none of it this time. And they just decided that they were going to conquer England, period. Like I said, they were after the wealth, and they were going to get it no matter what it took. So they went to town on old Britain. And there's a story, we're going to get into this too at some point, about, I think, is it the Viking Chronicles or something like that. There are numerous stories that the Vikings wrote down, and we have been able to, well, that are available to read. And some people say this great Viking army from Denmark was revenge because the guys who were leading this force were Bjorn Ironside and another guy named Ivar the Boneless. And they were sons of Ragnar Lothbrok. Have we mentioned Ragnar yet? I think I did in passing. Maybe, I don't remember. Anyway, Ragnar Lothbrok had been captured. And he went on a raid to attack Britain. He got captured. And he was one of the legendary Vikings. I mean, there's a lot written in those Viking chronicles about Ragnar Lothbrok. So his two sons take the great Viking army. They're going after Britain with a vengeance. You know, another argument to be made for the fact that this was revenge. Because the king that captured Ragnar didn't just kill him. He did it in a pretty gruesome way. He threw him into a pit of snakes. Now, I don't know about you, but snakes creep me out. I don't like them. Keep the snakes away from me. And I'm full. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I know. I'm talking to you and not paying attention to my work here. Anyway, the sons of Ragnar take the great Viking army from Denmark. They go and attack Britain. And they were after riches and the revenge of Ragnar from, I believe it's King Aelle. It's Aelle. And if you can pronounce that or teach me how to pronounce that, I would be forever grateful. And I think my trailer is full, actually. I don't think these taters are going in there, but we're going to give it the old college try. But I'll tell you this, the boom on this potato harvester is so short that getting in close enough can be a real challenge. Well, that's 52,000 liters of potatoes. We're not quite done yet. Not quite. Got a little bit. We're probably going to have about, I'm going to guess about 60,000 when we're done. No, more than that, because that harvester is still mostly full. Between 65 and 70,000. Now, I know I said that I'm going to sort these potatoes. And we're going to wash them up. Make them better. That's what I bought the equipment over there for. And then use the sorters to sort out the good from the bad. Pick up the premium potatoes, sell them off, and use the rest for pig feed. But I'll tell you, I don't want to wait on that process to at least get my pigs started. So I'm just going to tip in potatoes to start with over here, because I'll tell you what, it's going to take a lot of time and work. Man, these pigs are eating up the taters. Aight, that's enough. Let's look at our pigs. Oh, we're up to 122. Ooh. We've got enough potatoes to last us for a few days. So, I don't want to use up all the potatoes on pig feed immediately. We've got enough to last us a few days, so that's no problem. So I'm going to drop these right over here. I know you're thinking, why aren't you putting those in the silo, fool? Well, or why don't I just put them into that washer over there? Well, that's the reason I had to go get the front loader and the bucket. Had to get the front loader and the bucket because you can't tip into that washer from a trailer. Not gonna happen. And yes, we are replanting this field with potatoes. Well, I am anyway. But for now, I'm gonna finish harvesting these bad boys. Right now, I'm going to get the rest of these taters on the ground so I can start loading them into this washer that I already loaded with water, remember? Let's just park this right here. It's probably going to end up being in my way because that's what I do. Let's see if Harv can do this. That's the question of the day, isn't it? Can Harv do this? I don't like the grabber on this bucket. I gotta tell you right now, it's not necessary. It gets in the way, but it gives me a slightly bigger bucket. Up, up, tip, tip. Hope we're over the right spot. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Now those potatoes are in there. They're getting washed. Oh, it already washed up everything I put in there already. Holy crap, we better get moving. I wanted to show you what the machine was doing. And by the time I could get over there to show you, it was already doing. It had already done. Can't complain about that though. Up, up and away. I hope I'm in the right spot. Yep, there we go. It's a little weird. You can't quite tell. This thing will hold 15,000 liters, so basically 6 bucket loads. Okay, now we should have some potatoes washed up. I can't see. Yeah, I knew I was slammed up against that thing. That's better. So we should have some potatoes. That's a little funky. So now we've got 2,500 liters of washed potatoes. Now I need to take these washed potatoes over here to this sorter. This is going to be a little touchy. Little touchy indeed. I don't want to get too quick on this or I'm going to end up with washed potatoes all over the ground getting dirty again. There they go. There they go. Right in. Oh, see, and it's full already. It wouldn't even take a full bucket load. That's why I got a second one. For that very reason, because these sorters are small. Very small. So there's a second bucket. I probably shouldn't have filled that up all the way, should I? I'm going to swing this one around here to the other sorter. About like so. And there they go, up checking their potatoes. Whatever you want to call it. They are taking those washed potatoes, sorting out the really, really good ones, separating them from the really bad ones. Let's see if we've got any really good ones coming out of those yet. So what we should have at this point is premium potatoes. And I can't get the camera to sit right. There we go. Oh yeah, we got premium potatoes. There's 1,500 liters of premium potatoes already. Very nice indeed. Might as well get what we can out of this one. See if we can fill up our bucket. Not quite. Close enough for government work. Close enough for Harv's world work. And now we can take these right back over. And can I get up high enough to tip into this big trailer? Oh, it looks like it. See, these vultures. I'm more and more impressed with them all the time. I've got to be honest with you. Oh, and I even had more height on that bad boy. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Very nice indeed. So that right there, my friends, is washed, depending on where you're from, washed potatoes, and then sorted out into premium potatoes. And then if we look at these sorters in Global Company, and this calls it a potato washer, but it's not. This is actually the potato sorter. See, it says the potato sorter sorts washed potatoes, blah, blah, blah. Production of premium potatoes. Oh, it's already empty. So there's another almost 500 liters of premium potatoes, but we've also got 172 liters of pig food. That is outstanding. So it sorts those potatoes right out and turns them into pig food. At this point, I'm going to keep working on these potatoes. We're going to get them all cleaned up, washed up, sorted out, get some pig food made, yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Baltic Sea. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. As always, I very much appreciate you coming along for the ride. And until next time, take care.